Hi, I'm Kerry Kreiman at the Pilates Work Studio in Fort Worth, Texas. And this is one of our new CoreAligns here at the studio. It has this wonderful ladder and a base that holds this unit that has two sliding carts in it that roll back and forth. I can adjust the entire unit this distance from the ladder by pulling it back and forth. I can adjust the tension on the carts. There's bungee cords, and I can adjust that from either end of the machine. I can load it up from either end of the machine. One of the things I love about this piece of equipment is that I can really work on my core support and my vertical line. And it's something I can work on with my clients. Here I'm really kind of fighting to try to stay up tall while I am pushing against the tension on the carts. I'm also trying to keep the carts moving together. I'm trying not to let them separate. I'm trying not to send my heels back. But really, with so many of the exercises, there are many ways that I can vary them, and I can work on how I'm feeling tall and my gait, my articulation through my feet and my legs, how my legs line up, how my whole body stacks up. I can do things like a little calf lunge stretch, where I can work to keep my heels down, and I can get nice range of movement. I can do some strengthening, articulation through the foot and the ankle. I can do things facing the side. Here, my instability is in the frontal plane or the coronal plane, so this direction is unstable, and I have to work hard to stand up tall. I can do things like a little foot exercise, foot, ankle, calf, lower leg exercise called hoof. And I try to keep my two thighs parallel to each other and to articulate through the foot and the lower leg. I can do something like a variation on a lunge where I try to get that thigh right under my hip. I'm controlling from quads on both sides. I have to keep my ab support going. I have to really think about what my glutes are doing, especially here on the back of this front leg. I can do something like the calf lunges facing the other way. I could add some arms. Now these straps are just canvas straps, and so the only real tension on them is going to be tension I give to it deliberately. I have to be careful when I'm doing exercises with them. For something like this, it's almost a feeling like in some of the anchor point training or TRX. I'm having to kind of lean my body weight. I'm pushing my own body weight back through my arms, not just my legs. I can do different planes of motion, and I can keep a fair amount of arm work going. I can do some kind of diagonal pathways, and I have to keep a lot of core support working. I could do a little reverse hoof and carry my center of gravity forward over the foot that's going forward. I can do spinal rotation on top of other movements. I can add some arms. I can do cross lateral. Here it's opposite arm and leg. I can do more of a body half pattern and have the arm and leg on the same side go back. I can kind of play around with a allowing my spine and my chest to rotate a bit in different ways and allowing some nice upper body mobilization. In terms of exercises which might look a little more familiar, maybe from other pieces of equipment you've been on, I can do things like a plank. I've got a little mat over here, and I can add some other little mini mats onto the carts for some cushioning. I could do a plank from my forearms and stretching out, moving both carts at the same time. I could do little arm isolations while I'm out there in different ways. I could take one leg up while I'm going out with the carts. I could do planks all the way up on my hands. I could do all those same kinds of things from that higher push-up kind of a plank. I can do things like little cat variations through my spine. I can go over and do a little rotation in my chest, a little cross lateral arm reach. So many things I can do. I can do less weight on here. I can do standing arms. I should get rid of these. Get those carts pulled forward. I can back myself up, get that strap tension going, and I can work on feeling my vertical axis while I'm doing different kinds of arm patterns. So I'm having to keep my core support going, I'm having to keep my abs going. I can do little functional squats on top of some things. Can do little rowing patterns with squeezing the shoulder blades together. I can slice my arms in other pathways. I have to stay really tall and supported. I try to keep a lot of control over what I'm doing so that I'm going to avoid possibly losing my balance. So we have to be kind of careful how we're getting in and out of some of these positions. And some of these kinds of exercises you wouldn't see how quickly that went back. I'm trying to talk to the camera and I made an error. And sometimes the littlest moment of inattention in a fitness class can be the beginning of a big accident. So we really try to pay attention to how we're getting on and off the machines and to really listen to our own bodies. I can do variations on standing side splits on this machine, and it's a lot of fun. I could do it with the machines loaded up from this direction. And I might want to put a little safety block in there to prevent the cart from going all the way out. So that's blocking it off. stationary. The cart moves. Now the pull is coming from that direction, so I let the cart get pulled, and then I think of pulling with my inner thighs to bring it back. So I have to do a lot of adductor work on the inside of my leg. I could do all of that from kind of a functional squat, getting into my glutes more. I could do an isolation of one leg or the other leg while I try to stabilize the other hip. It's actually quite difficult. Of course, I'd want to do all that on the other side. And I might want to do something like do it with the pull from one direction, and then do it with the pull from the other direction. So here that's pulling from the latter side, and I think of pushing out away from the core tension. And I could vary this weight. I could make it a lot more weight. I could make it harder to push out. So I have to do a little different work to control the way out and back in. I could do all of those same ideas that I did from the other direction. Functional squat, the leg isolations, one side or the other side. Woo, that's a little too much weight for that inside one. So there's just so much versatility in this machine, in this CoreAlign. And the people at Balanced Body who bought the designs for it and have been working with the inventor of it, they've gradually improved on the equipment too. They've continued to make it a little more versatile, a little more adaptable to people of different heights and sizes. We've got 3 different bungee cord weights. The carts can spring from either end of the machine. They can even spring from both ends of the machine at once for a few exercises. I could be fighting to square up while I have one cart hooked at one end and the other cart hooked at the other end. So, like right there, I have each cart on the lightest weight cord. And I can, I don't know why I went all the way around there. Lost a sticky. Okay, I can hold on to this for some proprioceptive feedback, but it's not really going to save me. And here I am fighting to try to square up my hips, because one cart is sprung from one end of the machine and the other is sprung from the other end of the machine. So I have to fight not to be twisting. And I can do different kinds of patterns while I'm doing that. And I could try to do little foot isolations, I could do lunges, I could do both knees bent, I could try to do any of it without the straps and adding on some arms, cross lateral or body half. And really, if I want to get creative, I can do other kinds of things too. I can even put both carts on the same side of the machine. Do things where they're pulling from both directions. Ooh, it's a lot of work. La la la. Obviously, some of these things are more advanced than others. I could play around with my planks from the side. There's just so many possibilities, many exercises. I'd love to have an opportunity to teach some CoreAlign exercises to you if you're interested in coming to take class. And I think you would find it to be a great challenge.